My name is Emily Ireland. I'm from the Gold Coast and I'm a recipient of the 2015 Premier's Anzac Prize. I had 4 relatives who fought in World War I. I had 3 great-great-grand-uncles and my great-great-grandfather. It's quite a tremendous story actually how he turned out to be my great-great-grandfather. William Samuel Elliott was in the 52nd Battalion. John Henry Elliott, Frank Elliott and Robert John Taylor were in the 25th Battalion. They fought at Polygon Wood, Mouquet Farm, various other places along the Western Front where I was fortunate enough to visit. Frank and John met a man from a similar area and his name was Robert John. They made a pact, the 3 of them, that if anyone was injured, when they came home or at the end of the war, they would visit the respective families of that person and inform them and share their regrets. John Henry Elliott was injured twice. Sadly, the 3rd time he was injured was at Moorlancourt. He was hit by a shell and died from shrapnel wounds which actually severed both of his legs. He died the next day. 2 other men from his battalion were killed by the same shell, but a man who was another injured person from that shell said that despite his injuries, he was still the cheeriest of the lot. So, pretty proud moment for the family. When Robert John came home, Robert John Taylor, he came home and he visited the Elliott family after John's death. Because of his injuries, he got sent home and he met John and Frank's sister Alice Elliott, who he married. He became my great-great-grandfather. So that's a bit of a story. So the Anzac Premier's Prize 2015 entailed 70 Queensland students in grade 8 to grade 12, travelling to 3 countries, Turkey, Belgium and France, for free. It was 16 days long and they got to witness the 100th commemorative services at Gallipoli at the dawn service.
Anzac, a simple 5-letter acronym that means and symbolises so much to so many.
We had to submit a 5-minute multimodal presentation answering 3 questions about the Anzac spirit, how it's in today's society, how it will continue in future generations and how it's shaped the nation.
To me personally, it brings thoughts of family members lost in both World War I and World War II. To others, it has its own unique and personal meaning.
I worked really hard, did a lot of research about my family, found out so much and put together this 5-minute presentation. Send it away.
The 100-year anniversary commemoration services next year will be even more special for my family, as crosses made by local school children will be placed on graves of my fallen uncles on the Western Front, where I one day hope to visit.
I got a text message from Mum saying, you need to call this number. So I called this person, Catherine Tynan answered, and she said, congratulations, you've won the 2015 Premier's Anzac Prize. And I can remember I was just outside the hall, ready for SportX, and there was a test going on. And I sort of just screamed and the teacher turned around to me and went, shh. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. But it was just so exciting. On the trip, there was no rest at all. It was go, go, go for 16 days. So we had the pre-tour event at Anzac Square in Brisbane, where the 70 students, it was our first time meeting each other. We all got dressed in our tour uniform and the Premier and the Minister for Education gave us our badges, then flew into Turkey, straight into Istanbul. So full day of sightseeing. We went to the Grand Bazaar, to Paki Palace, Blue Mosque, pretty much everywhere in the one day. Then it was the dawn service. And I can just remember walking in, we'd just gotten off the bus and we're walking in and I just turned and there's just people everywhere that I looked, all up on the stands, to the left of me, and there's the stage and I see the screen saying Gallipoli 2015. Just the surreal moment, and to see the green and yellow everywhere that I pretty much looked was just surreal. I kind of pushed to the front. I was so lucky. I ended up just right next to the stage, basically. Very lucky. Saw Prince Charles, saw Prince Harry, Tony Abbott. And then they lit up the water there. They shone all these blue lights. And the water was so transparent and clear that you could just see the rocks all in the water, just through the light. It was beautiful. And then ships started to file in sort of like an order. So it was HMAT Anzac and lots of other battleships. And that was, I think at that point, there wasn't a dry eye around me. And it was just, I'm getting goosebumps speaking about it now, but it was such a goosebump moment. People keep asking me, what was it like? Was it good? And I'm like, it was, and I'm lost for words. It's indescribable at this point. I think it would take a while for me to actually get the words. People before the trip said that there will be this moment where, whether it was sharing a eulogy or just standing there at Anzac Cove, or just even if it was in your hotel room and you were just reflecting the day, there would be that moment where you'd be overwhelmed. And for me, it was at the dawn service, and it was also sharing the eulogies for my uncles. So I shared both the eulogies in the one day. At Curia British Cemetery, I shared the eulogy for John Henry Elliott. I got to read it in front of about 30 people and say a prayer for him, have a conversation.
I'm so proud to be standing here sharing your story and sharing your legacy. And even though your life is cut short, you serve both your country and your family well. Rest in peace, John and Henry Elliott.
I took a picture of the fig tree that's at the farm where they lived. This fig tree had particular importance for the family because when they first moved there to Nimmogai on the farm, their mother described it as she could count the leaves on this tree. And now going back there, it's grown into this huge, beautiful tree. It grew so big that they actually had to knock down the house and rebuild it to make room for it. I thought, well, I'll take a picture of it, laminate it, and I'll put it on the graves of them. So on both of the graves, I placed the picture of the fig tree and the stone from their home, so they'd always have a piece of home with them. And that was what got me almost every time. Even now talking about it, it's emotional. And it was really good to be able to do that for them and get even the slightest bit of an insight to where they came from and to what their lives was like. So then it was off to Adelaide Cemetery in Villas Bretna, where I shared the eulogy of William Samuel Elliott. It was a fantastic moment to sit there and just be with him. I was so proud. Just a moment that you'll never forget, and I hope that I get to go back there and see them both again. It was only 16 days, but if we thought back to the first day back at Anzac Square, it felt like a year. It was the amount of things we had done. It was crazy, and the amount of the emotions and everything that we'd felt, you wouldn't imagine anywhere, anytime. It was just amazing. After the trip, it's just like as I've said, you have no idea how to describe it. I've got all these opportunities from it, such as working and having the opportunity to be a part of an exhibition with the State Library. I've come away knowing more about my family history than I could ever have imagined to know about it. And now I'm just so proud of my family, of my relatives, and of all the men that fought. And it's just, I've come away with a newfound appreciation for Anzac and of the Anzac spirit, a new meaning that I could never would have had without this trip.